Well, guys, it seems the EU has actually done something right for once, or should I say, an institution within the European Union rather than the EU itself. But what makes it even more sweet is that this has upset the ever oppressed victim known as Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion race driver who has been held back all his life, he claims. Well, for once, he has lost, it seems, and miserably, though not on the racetrack. This whole story is something I have been completely unaware of until now, but apparently he has been suing a Swiss watchmaker who uses the name Hamilton. He seemed to think he had some trademark rights on his surname, which is obviously ludicrous, but he wanted to waste some money on it for the past 3 years. Obviously, like I said, he lost, and that is no surprise. It is also no surprise because it appears this watch manufacturer has been doing this since 1892 under that very same name, making that company's use of that name a lot longer than Hamilton has been around, and the only people who have actually been active longer than this watchmaker is the 200-year-old Biden voters in the States. But the Telegraph picked up on Hamilton losing with this article headlining, Lewis Hamilton loses 3-year trademark battle with jewelers who sold Hamilton watches since 1892. I expect a bunch of Joe Biden voters bought these watches back in 1892, proving, as we said, that Hamilton didn't have a leg to stand on in this case, and I'm surprised it took 3 years and actually was allowed to be appealed. Lewis Hamilton has lost a 3-year trademark battle with a jeweler who has sold Hamilton watches since 1892. Lawyers representing Formula 1 champion Hamilton 35 took action against Swiss group Hamilton International in 2017 after it trademarked the Hamilton name throughout Europe. Trademark ruling bodies concluded Hamilton, who won his 7th title at Sunday's Turkish Grand Prix, had no natural right to protect his common surname. 44 IP, a firm located in Malta and established by the driver to oversee his image rights, claims Hamilton International registered the name in bad faith and to prevent competition. No, you complete fucking idiot, they did it to protect the fact that they sell watches that have the Hamilton name on it. It's got fuck all to do with you, and it's certainly not nefarious. It goes on, however, the watchmaker was able to provide proof that it had sold products bearing the legend of its company name since its establishment in 1892. The European Union Intellectual Property Office subsequently refused the request submitted by 44 IP for the trademark to be voided, which naturally got the salt coming out of Lewis Hamilton, I would bet. I'm waiting for him to come out and say the judge was racist and did it because he was black. That, I'm sure you would agree, is likely going to be his next move. When everything fails, just blame it on your victimhood. It highlighted in its judgment that Hamilton International headquarters in Swiss town Biel, which has been described as the capital of watches, actively used Hamilton for almost a century before the sportsman was even born, which realistically should have told any lawyer representing him that you stand no chance of winning. But the lawyers want to make money, and this guy is a sucker, so I'm not complaining about that. It's a shame they wasn't able to milk him for a bit more. The ruling, which was issued by the Board of Appeal after an initial challenge had failed in December, noted that Hamilton is a rather common surname in English-speaking countries. There is no natural right for a person to have his or her own name registered as a trademark when that would infringe third-party rights, it said. Even the cancellation application explicitly accepted that the contested Mark Hamilton had been used since 1892, i.e. even before the date of birth of Lewis Hamilton, a natural person. No bad faith can be found on the part of the EU trademark proprietor. In fact, the EU trademark proprietor demonstrated a significant economic activity in the horological field since 1892. The hearing also heard that 44 IP was attempting to trademark Lewis Hamilton's name for goods including watches, smartwatches and jewellery. So that explains why they've put this out there, because they plan to make money off this. So they essentially said, we want to take this copyright off them so we can steal their name and use it over here. Are they actually taking the piss? Well, actually, we know they were trying to take the piss, but it didn't get them nowhere because the courts have rightly thrown it out. Like I said, something in the EU has actually done something right for a change. Hamilton International said the plans by 44 IP to produce products almost identical to its own was not appropriate or necessary. 44 IP was ordered to pay £893 towards costs accrued by Hamilton International in the case, which I have to say they're lucky that this appeal didn't cost very much. I expect the original court case was a hell of a lot more. But once again, I have to say it's good news that Lewis Hamilton lost this. The cheeky bastard was trying to make more money by selling these watches and things, even though a company has been selling watches for over 100 years with the name Hamilton on them. To actually think you were going to get the EU's trademark people to get rid of that when this company has been around much longer than you have even been here is just ridiculous. But I think you would agree it goes to show the level of entitlement that is in this prick. For once, I'm saying well done to the EU for stopping this nonsense.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.